Imagine a vast empire stretching over 2,500 miles, from the mountains of Colombia to the deserts of Chile. An empire so advanced that it built cities in the clouds, constructed earthquake-proof architecture, and governed millions, without even inventing the wheel or a writing system. This was the Inca Empire, one of the greatest civilizations in human history. But in just a few short years, this mighty empire collapsed. What happened? How did a civilization that seemed unstoppable fall so quickly? Stay with me, because today we're diving into the rise and fall of the Inca Empire. The story of the Inca begins in the highlands of modern-day Peru. According to legend, the first Inca ruler, Manco Capac, was sent by the sun god Inti to bring order to the world. While this is myth, what we do know is that around the early 1400s, the Incas were just a small tribe in the Cusco Valley. But then came Pachacuti, the true architect of the Inca Empire. Pachacuti was a visionary. He transformed Cusco from a simple settlement into the heart of an empire. He built Machu Picchu, an engineering marvel perched in the Andes. But more importantly, he created a system that allowed the Incas to expand rapidly, by combining military conquest with diplomacy. Unlike other empires that crushed and destroyed their enemies, the Incas had a different approach. They offered other tribes a choice: join us peacefully or prepare for war. Many chose the first option, adopting Inca culture, language, and infrastructure in return for protection and resources. By the late 1400s, the Inca Empire, or Tawantinsuyu, ruled over 10 million people. They didn't have a written language, but they developed the quipu, a system of knotted strings used for record-keeping. They built over 24,000 miles of roads, connecting the entire empire without using horses or wheels. Messengers called chasqui would run for miles, relaying messages like an ancient postal service, and their farming? Revolutionary. They carved terraces into mountainsides, making the most of difficult terrain. Their irrigation systems turned dry valleys into fertile farmlands. They cultivated over 70 different crops, including potatoes, maize, and quinoa, foods we still eat today. The Inca were thriving, but as we know, even the mightiest empires have their breaking point. So, what went wrong? By the early 1500s, the empire was at its peak, but then, in 1527, disaster struck. Emperor Huayna Capac died, most likely from smallpox, a European disease that had spread before the Spanish even arrived. His death sparked a brutal civil war between his two sons, Atahualpa and Huáscar. For 5 years, the empire was torn apart by this conflict. Atahualpa finally won, but the war had left the empire weakened, just in time for the arrival of the Spanish. In 1532, Francisco Pizarro and just 168 Spanish conquistadors landed in Peru. They had horses, steel weapons, and most importantly, guns, things the Incas had never seen before. But what really gave the Spanish the upper hand? Deception. Pizarro invited Atahualpa to a meeting in the town of Cajamarca. Expecting peaceful talks, Atahualpa arrived with thousands of unarmed men. Instead, the Spanish ambushed them, massacred the Inca forces, and took Atahualpa captive. They demanded a ransom of gold and silver, which the Incas paid, enough to fill a room. But instead of freeing Atahualpa, the Spanish executed him. Leaderless and in chaos, the once mighty Inca Empire crumbled. Within a few decades, Spanish rule took over, and the empire was no more. But while the empire may have fallen, its legacy lives on. Millions of people today in Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador still speak Quechua, the language of the Incas. Their farming techniques, roads, and traditions still shape life in the Andes. And their greatest cities, like Machu Picchu, continue to amaze the world. The rise and fall of the Inca Empire is a story of power, ambition, and betrayal. A reminder that even the greatest civilizations can collapse, but their influence never truly disappears. What do you think? Could the Inca have survived if things had played out differently? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more history just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.